Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome back to the Mountain Guys. Happy Tuesday. I hope everybody had a productive Monday. Mine was productive, but not as productive as I actually wanted it to be. I had the dentist appointment yesterday at 1 o'clock in the middle of the day, which always messes up everything whenever you have an appointment in midday like that. And unfortunately, I didn't even get what I went to go get done. They were supposed to put a crown on yesterday, the permanent crown. I've been waiting for about 2 weeks on. I've been rocking a temporary up until now. And I get there and they wanted to rescan my mouth because they had a problem at the lab that makes the crowns. So I didn't even get the crown put on yesterday and actually have to go back next Thursday. But I told them they got to give me an appointment in the morning so I can go in, get it done, and then get my butt back to work because I don't have time for the midday things. It did work out though because I was able to go to Harbor Freight and pick up an auger to be able to dig the holes for the pump house behind me. And I also picked up an auger for Country Road Cure because on their last video, their auger actually took up here. So I went ahead and picked them up one while I was already in town because out here, if you got somebody going to town, you better utilize it because it's about an hour and a half away from any of the big towns around here. So I got that picked up, and then I picked up a couple of other things for in the inside of the cabin, which I'm going to show y'all later on in this video. Y'all are going to get a little sneak peek of what's coming out on the video tomorrow. I have been busy out here, and I'm going to show y'all a couple of the things that I've been working on. If you look behind me, this whole area is cleared out. And that area right there is where I had all of the stuff stacked up from where we cleared all the trees for the Starlink a couple of months ago. There was a big old pile of stuff back here. And then I believe right over there was a whole bunch of logs and stuff that I had stacked up. I got that all cleared out because I'm actually going to be building a 10 by 20 little temporary canopy thing that I bought whenever I first moved here about 4 or 5 months ago and never got a chance to put up, to be able to put Uber up underneath. I'm not going to put Uber up underneath it. I'm going to use it to be able to keep my saws and stuff on and work in whenever I'm building the pump house here. And also to put the generators and stuff on that side of the house because I typically hang out on this side of the house more, and the generators is right there and it's very loud. And when I'm filming Fired Up Fridays over there, it's really hard to do in the evenings because I need to run lights. The generator, it makes all kinds of noise and it makes the videos not that great. So I want to move everything over there. And plus that new generator has a CO2 sensor on there, and in the enclosed buildings like it's in right there, I actually have to pick the back up and make the exhaust and everything go out the back so it doesn't trip that sensor. So the other canopy is open all the way around, so I think it's going to work out a whole lot better. Eventually the generators are actually going to go in the pump house itself, and I'll build like a little section just for them with a little exhaust that'll kind of feed all the exhaust outside, and that should quieten it down around here a little bit and also keep the generators protected. But this morning we are getting on this. This is all the logs that were stacked up over there that I moved, so those are a lot drier than those right there. So I'm going to start with them. I have no idea if some of these pines are still good. They look kind of rough, but you never really know until you get into them. So I'm going to start with those because I need some 2x4s to be able to frame out the walls of the pump house. And then I also need to mill up some siding for the pump house because I have the frame structure and I have the metal roofing, but I don't have the walls and the siding. So we got to get Big Green here up and going. And today is the day. I'm excited about it. I don't know much about it. I have watched a lot of videos. I have talked to Country Road Cure and Simple Life Reclaim quite a bit about it. I believe I got the gist of it, and I'm just going to start slow and take my time and see what I can get done. I know over time I'll get faster and faster and faster, but this is a good little project to actually get started. I also got Ryder out here this morning. Check this out. Ryder, what are you doing? Are you hiding from Eclipse? You see all the dirt on Ryder right now? That's all from Eclipse slobbering all over her playing. You getting some sunshine, Ryder? Huh? You getting some sunshine? Come here. Come here. Say hey. Yeah, look at all that dirt, guys. That's Eclipse, the old big brother. Terrorizing her. Terrorizing him, I should say. I'll tell you what, I got some spoiled animals here on the mountain. They do have a happy, bougie life for sure. I'm also going to go over a couple of the concerns and questions that y'all got that I've been getting on this channel and also the other channel a little bit about the pump house. And the fact that it's going to be solar as well. I've been hearing a lot about, you know, certain batteries don't like cold and all of that other stuff. I am aware of that. This is going to be a temperature controlled environment. I will be insulating it and stuff just like you would a house. And I will put some kind of heat source inside there. It won't be a major heat source to where it's keeping it 80, 90 degrees, you know, like you would in a typical house. But I will put something in there to keep everything above freezing. It won't be nothing major. It might just be some of the heat lights or something like that. It's all going to depend. I don't know exactly what I'm going to need quite yet to accomplish it, but I will have something in here to keep from the inside of this building from freezing, because I got a ton of comments about you know, the washer pump and all that other stuff and the batteries and the well itself and everything else. I'm not building a pump house over the well and not thinking about keeping it from freezing inside, because if not, then what's the point of the pump house? I mean, the whole point of the pump house is to keep that well from freezing. I'm also got some concerns about putting the well part itself outside and putting the tank and stuff on the inside. Well, the problem with that is if you build the building and have the part that's going down being it's a submersible pump outside, you still have pipes and stuff that come out of it, and then you're still going to have to deal with the freezing issues of those pipes right there. Now, the reason why I have it laid out like it is, to where it's really close to the edge, the front edge of this building, is if anything ever needed to be done with this, I could literally just pop off a couple of the panels up top. Probably about 3 panels would actually uncover that well, and you would be able to access that well from above if you did end up needing to pull the pump or anything like that. If that pump ever dries up, guys, it's not going to stay there. I'm not going to re-drill in the same area or nothing like that. I will be moving that well. I don't like the fact that that well is in the front of the cabin to begin with, but it is what it is, and I'm trying to make lemonade out of lemons. Whenever I'm done with this building, it should end up looking like a very nice little building that kind of fits the aesthetics of what the mountain area right here looks like. And also there will be a nice setting area and stuff in the little L shape to where the lean-to and stuff is. And I told y'all before, I had a plan for that and that, which is going to go in accordance with that to make a nice little cool little hangout setting area and stuff. So it'll be a multi-function area. It's going to end up being a decent sized little structure. The main structure is going to be a 10 by 20, and the lean-to off of it's probably going to end up being a 10 by, I would say, 10. So I mean, altogether that's a pretty decent size. That's like a tiny house you know, and just for well, solar, washing, stuff like that. I probably will not end up putting the bathroom on the inside of there, and the reason why is because where you have a well, you have a certain distance that you need your septic tank and stuff to be from the well. So I don't want to try to trench and drop that far of a distance all the way to the septic tank, and I really don't want to deal with a composting toilet and stuff like that to where I got to deal with that after every party and stuff like that. So the outdoor bathroom would be better off over there by where the new septic tank's going to go. That's another question that I got, like, what are you going to do as far as your gray water and your black water and all that other stuff? I am putting a septic tank system in here. I do have a backhoe on the back of Uber. I have done my own septic tanks before in the past. Matter of fact, the first one I did was whenever I was like 13 years old with my dad. We bought a double wide there in Florida, and we built one by hand. No tractors, no nothing, just shovels and attitudes and me and my brothers. and it was a big one. It was a big one. We built it out of cement block, everything. We did everything by hand. We also dug all the leach fields and stuff by hand and did all of that. So, and I also had one in Florida there that I installed to be able to drain the fifth wheel in when I lived in Florida there. So I have done a couple of septic tanks, and these days, you know, they got those plastic ones that look like the atomic bomb like type deals and stuff like that, plus concrete ones. I'm not going to need a huge one here at this cabin. It's not a big square foot place. There's not a lot of people that live here, so it doesn't need to be some 2,000 gallon monster or something like that. Honestly, I'm probably going to go around probably about 500 gallon, which will be plenty for this cabin, and I do mean plenty, and that's for the outdoor bathroom and the indoor bathroom, because it's not going to get a ton of usage. I mean, 90% of the time it's just me here. Every once in a while I do have guests and stuff like that, but it's not on a day-to-day basis, and it never will be, where I have a huge crowd here for long periods of time. So there's no point in wasting the money and doing this huge septic tank system for this little cabin behind me. It just doesn't make any sense. But I do have the backhoe. It is something I can do, so I will be doing that. That will happen whenever I get the bathroom part pretty much done, or right there at being done, to where I'm ready to kind of plumb everything and kind of finish all the plumbing and stuff like that. I will go ahead and trench here soon the line that's going from the pump house to the cabin, and kind of get that to where I want it to kind of go inside the cabin there. And the y'all seen me clearing in that area right there about a month ago. The reason why is the septic will be over that direction, see, and the well is way over here. So it's a lot more distance than what is actually by code what it needs to be as far as your well and drinking water and stuff like that. So I've got a plan. It's just a matter of getting it all done. And Uber's going to make short work of that, being able to dig that out and dig the leach lines and all that other stuff. And also the lines from the well to the plumbing and everything. I know a lot of people have said use PEX. I am going to use PEX inside the cabin. And but there's really no point in me going PEX underneath the ground, because I'm going to dig below the frost line. And so I'll be able to use PVC from the well to the cabin. But once I get inside the cabin, I will definitely be using PEX. It's just a lot easier, a lot more flexible, and a lot easier of a product to use. And then also running from the well to the washing machine and all that other stuff on the inside of the new building will also probably be done in PEX as well. But as far as the initial underground feeding things, like the outside spigots and the cabin and stuff like that, I will be using PVC. I've already purchased it. I've already got all the connections. There's a ton of it right over there. And in the bin in my little shop over there, I've got all the connections and stuff that I need to make that happen. All right, let's go ahead and take a walk inside and let me show y'all guys something. Something that nobody else is going to get to see until tomorrow, unless they're subscribed to Come On Keeping It Real. Another thing I would like to touch base on is I do have a few on here that say all I do is talk on this channel. Let me be clear. This is a vlog channel. This is not the building channel. This is the channel where I talk about stuff like this. Why I'm doing things, behind the scenes, stuff like that. And if you don't like that content, I am sorry, but that is what this channel is for, to separate it. So it's not so much of that on the main channel, Come On Homesteading. And a lot of people like this format, and that's why I do it. So let's go into the cabin here, and I'm gonna show y'all a little something. Show y'all what I picked up yesterday. Look at that, guys. I have got a new refrigerator with a normal size freezer for the most part. It's not quite as big as a standard, but it is a decent size. It is definitely big enough for me. And this cabin, look at that. Oh, we are in there like swimwear, guys. I can actually keep vegetables and stuff now. I also cleaned out this room right here. This was the storage part from the last video on Come On Homesteading, where you see that we kind of had all of our storage stuff in here. Cleaned out this whole room. And I also got a little deep freezer. And this right here is pretty deep. And I got all kinds of meat now. It's already frozen solid, working good. I got chicken and sausage, and I got a whole chicken there, some ribs. I got a ribeye roast down there. Yep. But I think that right there is amazing. That is going to be plenty of storage for what I need here at the cabin. When I redo the kitchen eventually next year sometime, when I do the big cabin renovation, if I decide to go with a bigger size, standard size, all of this won't go to waste because I will be building Airbnbs and stuff, and I can always use those little units right there in those because those are perfect size for that right there. I did end up putting it up on a stand right here just to raise it up a little bit, and it's taller than me on that little stand. I just didn't want to have to bend over all the way to the floor every time I wanted to get something on the lower shelves. Well, there you go, guys, a little behind the scenes of what I did accomplish yesterday. Being that half my day was messed up with having to go to town and go to the dentist, I decided that I could work yesterday evening at night and get all that situated. And I also stopped at the grocery store and picked up some groceries and stuff. One of the reasons why I haven't done a lot of filming on Fired Up Friday is that reason right there. I was using the solar coolers to kind of keep all my stuff cold, and they work great. And I definitely appreciate Simple Life Reclaim letting me use their solar cooler. But the problem with it is at the very bottom it gets very cold, and at the top not so cold. And so anytime you're trying to have like fresh vegetables and stuff like that in there, they just don't last. And also, if you're not careful, your meat can turn and stuff too, because if it's not at the very bottom, then it doesn't really get to the freeze level and stuff like that. So it served its purpose, but I've had to throw quite a bit of groceries away because of that scenario. And Walmart actually had a really good sale on there. I was looking at the 12-volt refrigerators, and they wanted like $1,500 for the 12-volt refrigerator, and that's just a lot of money. And I just decided not to do that. I actually ended up getting that freezer and that refrigerator for like $420. And I mean, that's a really good deal to get a big deep freezer like that, plus a refrigerator with a freezer on top as well. It ended up working out. I know a lot of people said get the propane refrigerator like that's in the fifth wheels. I stayed in a fifth wheel in Florida for over a year, and the refrigerator worked, don't get me wrong, but the freezer never really got like frozen. Like you couldn't have ice cream sandwiches and stuff in there because they would stay soft. They would never really get completely frozen. And the problems with those type of propane type ones is, you know, they kind of take the heat out type thing. So if it's hot and it's a hot day and stuff like that, those really struggle to keep temp. And like I said, I've lived it. I've had one for over a year in my fifth wheel in Florida there, and it did serve its purpose, but it did have some drawbacks and stuff like that. And I just don't want to deal with those drawbacks again, especially being that this is going to be my long-term house. I want it to function a little bit better. The energy rating on both of those, to be honest with you, whenever I had the generator crank up and they're running, it doesn't even like amp the refrigerator or the generator up. It doesn't consume a whole lot of power, and once it's at temp, it really doesn't use nothing. So I felt like it would work, and I mean, it's like $1,000 cheaper than the route that I was going to take, and I'm excited about it. It's just one more step here on this off-grid one more step on this off-grid journey to kind of bring a little bit of the creature comforts here at the cabin, because it's been about 5 months now, and I've been 100% off grid and dealing with all the struggles that go along with it. And every day I'm making kind of steps and strides to get it a little bit more comfortable and a little bit more functional as we go. And I might not be building and doing stuff in the order that everybody thinks that I should be, but I am doing everything in the order that I feel that I need to do it in for comforts and functionality to be able to live out here and be able to produce as much as possible, as comfortable as possible. And everything takes time. There's a lot of steps and a lot of processes to all this stuff. I could easily just start building and throwing things up and throwing structures up without any thought behind it, and those structures won't be no good in 2 years because they would have been half peeped and not done correctly. And me, I'd rather take my time, plan it out, and do all the necessary steps behind the scenes and before the projects start to make sure that the project goes the way that I want it to, smoothly, and gets built correctly and to the standard that I want it to be. So that's kind of the thought behind the scenes, and that's just keeping it real. But whoa, we already did 21 minutes today, guys. I had a lot to say this morning, but I got to get my butt to work. I'm fitting to get Uber behind me fired up. We're going to get a log on that mill, and we're going to start milling today. And then I got to get my butt to editing and get the video out tomorrow on the main channel, Come On Homesteading, for you guys to see the refrigerator and freezer getting installed. See what we went down with all of this getting cleared, because there's another section of this. There's another cleared section that I had to do in order to move all of this stuff, which y'all will see on the video. I didn't show you everything. I got to give you something to go check out the new video that's coming out tomorrow. And also there's going to be a little bit of milling on this video if today goes good. So I hope everybody has a productive Tuesday. And make sure that you try to be positive today. Help somebody out. Call a friend. Tell them that you love them and that you're thinking about them. And until we see each other again, guys, hey, come on, keep it real.